Hi, I'm Meredith, and today I'm going to talk to you about a report I did over the Common Core state standards. My audience for this particular report would be the House of Representatives of Oklahoma, because those would be the men and women that would vote on whether Common Core state standards would be adopted into our state or not. So, when I started my research, my first question was, what is the definition of Common Core state standards? And I came to find out they are educational learning goals in math and language reading area. The literature area and the math area are where these standards are focused on. They're just guidelines for teachers and standards and goals that students are required to reach in order to go on to the next grade level. There's steps throughout a semester, steps throughout a year that students need to meet. They need to meet all of these learning goals in order to move on to the next grade level. My next question was, who made Common Core? Who developed it? I came to find out that it was a committee of people, of teachers and parents and upper level administration of schools, and that came together and developed this plan. To my surprise, of all of the people on the committee, there were only 2 people with a PhD. Only 2 people with a PhD are developing learning standards and learning goals, educational standards that need to be implemented on all of the states, all over the nation. So I have an issue with that, and a lot of people have an issue with that, because if it's something that I need to learn, and it's something that maybe I need to teach, I want the people with the highest education level to be developing those standards. It's hard for me to know that parents and administration created these standards that teachers now need to implement on children. I want people with PhDs, a group of people with PhDs, all the brain power that I can get to develop the best plan possible. So, where I went next with my research was, where has Common Core been adopted? Where's it at? What states have it? What states don't? What places love it? What places may have issues with it? 43 states, the District of Columbia, 4 territories, and the Department of Defense Education have adopted Common Core state standards, whether it be a partial adoption or a full adoption. I'll explain partial adoption. Partial adoption is when you agree with some parts of the Common Core state standards and you adopt those parts, but maybe you have some issues with some of the stuff, so you don't adopt those parts. You may not get all the benefits that you would get as if you adopted fully, but it will be your choice to only partially adopt. The main year for the adoption of Common Core state standards into your state was in 2010 or 2011. And in this particular year, there is a waiver. There's always a waiver, yearly waiver. It's called No Child Left Behind. It's a government waiver that is given to schools. And in order to receive the No Child Left Behind waiver, you had to adopt Common Core state standards. So, if you wanted the waiver, you have to have the standards. So, of course, schools from around the nations were like, we have to have the waiver, we'll try out the standards, whether it be partial or fully. So, some states got them, some states held off, a few held off, obviously only 43 states, but when they implemented, there was a lot of tension with students. In the first few months, there was some dissatisfaction with teachers and with parents with the homework that their students were bringing home. They were saying that it's ridiculous, that it's overwhelming, that it's over the top, which is interesting. Maybe people were saying that, second and third grade math level questions were, a fourth grader was bringing home a an 8th grader's homework. That's what they felt like, and students were being overwhelmed. Students were crying over their homework, so that was obviously a concern. Next, after seeing what all the states did, I'm from Oklahoma, is where I go to college, where this university is, so I wanted to get into the specifics of Oklahoma. So, where is Common Core in Oklahoma? Well, in 2010, we partially adopted Common Core state standards, partial adopt. And then we had it for a couple of years, and a lot of people were dissatisfied. So we voted on it again, and in 2014, it was decided that we would withdraw from Common Core state standards. And Mary Fallin filed a repeal bill, and it was omitted from our state. We no longer go by Common Core state standards. And with that, we also got our No Child Left Behind waiver revoked. We no longer get the waiver because we didn't want these standards that were just not good for our state. So the government takes away our waiver, which is kind of concerning. So then, since we gave Common Core a chance, we didn't like it. We essentially gave it back. So now what do we go by? We decided to go to the past standards, which was what we went by previous to Common Core. So pre-2010 went by the past standards, and by past, sorry I didn't explain, it is the priority academic student skills. Priority academic student skills. That's what PASS stands for, and those are the standards that Oklahoma went by pre-2010. So, to 2010, PASS standards. 2010 to 2014, Common Core state standards, and now we're going to go back to the PASS state standards, which is an issue. I do not agree with Common Core state standards, and I understand that we have a small issue with the PASS state standards. Universities from this state and other states are concerned about PASS state standards. They don't think that the students on PASS standards are educated enough to go into general education classes in college. They think that students that go by the PASS standards are going to have to take remedial classes when they get to college rather than just go to general education, which is a concern, which means that the PASS standards may need to be updated. But Oklahoma has already agreed that Common Core is not the replacement. It's not what we need. It's not what we need to go to. So, what I wanted to know was how teachers and parents felt about Common Core in the states that it had been adopted in. And according to Fox News in 2011, there was a widespread dissatisfaction within the first months of implementation. And continuing research, there is a very widespread dissatisfaction, and I can't say that everyone doesn't like it. There are places and there are students and teachers and maybe some parents that do agree with what's going on, but for the majority, it is dissatisfaction. Teachers are saying that they feel paralyzed. They feel like they're just teaching a test. They have a test, they have to teach this specific information, this specific way, and hopefully their students succeed by meeting the goals. Teaching is more than teaching a test. In conclusion, my mother is a teacher, and she is worried, and for the fact she does not want Common Core to come back to Oklahoma. She really, really hopes that doesn't happen. And it's scary for a teacher to know that her personalization of teaching could be taken away by just one adoption of standards into the state. I understand that the PASS standards aren't up to par, and that maybe we need to do more to update those standards so that the universities will accept students from Oklahoma that have gone through the PASS program. I understand, like I said, that PASS is not up to par, but I do believe that the people of Oklahoma are intelligent enough to improve the past standards without having to adopt the Common Core state standards. Thank you.